Cannot let that happen to us. More importantly, we cannot let the Heat hang around to where the game gets very dangerous. Tom?
All right, Dan. Ready for the tip-off. Game 5. The winner will advance to meet the at the Omni. That was the first game of the series. Mookie Blaylock chases down the opening tap. Atlanta with the first possession. Contact left open. Shoots from outside, can't hit, but Blaylock kept it alive.
Contact will take that shot continually. He'll have to make the Heat defense be on it.
Kevin Willis has been the subject of double teaming by the Heat throughout the playoffs. Contact again, conceding the outside shot, and this time he connects.
Penetration by the point guard. Spot-up shooters. Who would have ever thought that it would be John Contact, though, the spot-up guy? But he is one of their main weapons in that category.
Contact averaging only 7 points in this playoff series. Smith with 3-point shot, no good. Cycli off the offensive board, and a foul called. A push on Ronnie Cycli, the game's first foul.
Cycli, a very aggressive rebounder. When he gets on a roll, the Heat follow right behind him. He is determined to get off to a good start today.
Cycli had a career playoff high 20 rebounds in Game 3. Blaylock goes inside. Willis turns and hits.
Willis, the first player on the court today, well before everyone else. He's been double-teamed and taken out of the offense by Kevin Lockery's defensive strategy. He's going quickly before the double team gets there.
He's been held 8 points below his season's average in the playoffs. Cycli, foul number 2.
Emotion here, so determined. A push initially, then the drive, the offensive foul. Contact with the solid position.
Atlanta with the ball leading 4-0. Danny Manning gets away from Cycli and throws it right to Rice of Miami. Brian Shaw pulls up. And the Heat have their first bucket.
Jake O'Donnell's going to call a foul here. Loose ball foul on the rebound. Brian Shaw gets thrown out of bounds.
It's called on Kevin Willis of Atlanta. Well, they have the A officiating crew here today after that fight in Game 2, perhaps. Jake O'Donnell, Mike Mathis, and Bill Oakes calling today's game.
3 of the absolute best, and not only because of the fight, but because of the importance of this game. The winner moves on to play at Indiana, the lower part of the screen. Willis, that's his game. He'll do that a lot. Generally, though, when it happens against guys like Sally or Cycli, it's just a bump out of bounds, no call.
John Sally misses the free throw. And Mookie Blaylock quickly the other way. Nice pass to Altman for the slam. Blaylock made it happen.
Blaylock is the key for Atlanta to get off to the good start that Miami was hoping to prevent. He's pushing the ball, looks very confident today.
Tried to call timeout as he was sailing out of bounds, but didn't get the call.
Way too early in the game to make a timeout call like that. But Blaylock seeing the floor beautifully as Augman streaks ahead of a careless and really lazy defense by Miami.
Miami's ball beneath its own goal. Cycli still in the game despite 2 quick fouls. Outside shot again goes for Brian Shaw. He has both Miami baskets.
The best news for Kevin Locker that he's had in a long time. Brian Shaw has not been an offensive factor in this series after having a remarkably good year.
Manning gets a screen from Willis. Blaylock. Cycli made a swipe at it, but Blaylock got it down.
Miami's defense sliding with Blaylock as opposed to getting in front of him, making him change direction.
Sally from outside.
That's not really John Sally's game there.
Cycli got the rebound. Dish to Sally, who scores and won. Contact called for the Atlanta foul, his first.
Miami felt that their failures in Game 4, where they lost the home court advantage and an opportunity to get out of this series with a 3-1 victory, was because they were too tight in that game. It's here real tight at this point as well. They've been determined to come out and play a loose, wide-open game.
Evidence of that was Ronnie Cycling's play earlier, 2 quick fouls, including an offensive foul where he had no shot, really, of doing anything but running over the defensive man.
Good press here by Miami.
Sally knocks it out of bounds. Atlanta controls. Well, the shooting has been all important in the series, as it usually is, and Atlanta off to a blistering start.
This game is all about making your shot. They double off of contact. Jake O'Donnell calls the illegal defense.
No basket, illegal defense called against Miami. That's the first, a warning.
A defensive strategy for Miami. You play Sally on Willis in the low post, and then you bring the big double team that Willis can't pass over the top of with Cycli leaving contact wide open.
Contact has hit one of his 2 shots in the game. Blaylock for 3. Top of the backboard and out of bounds to Miami.
Quick 3. Both teams sometimes have a tendency to do that without dumping it in low first. It's an inside-out offense.
Miami looking for its first lead. Outside shot of 3, no good. Rice couldn't hit, and Blaylock pushing the ball to Ogman.
Rookie Blaylock's decisions on the fast break have been flawless to this point. Seeing the lead guy, the trailer, Stacey Ogman both times.
Blaylock averaging 7 assists per game in this playoff series. Cycli again tries to force his way inside, feeds it back out, and the shot no good by Sally. Ogman threading his way up court. Willis. Blaylock somehow got there to get the rebound and put it back.
Kevin Willis is doing a good job of taking the ball right away. The earlier games in this series, he waited for the double team that was forced to become a passer. He's a key scorer for the Hawks.
Blaylock 4 points, 4 assists so far. Sally. And a foul. John Koncak picks up his second.
Mookie Blaylock has been the man finding runners behind the ball, the guys who are generally open the most often, and then Kevin Willis will rim it off, and Mookie Blaylock is there. Just throw it back up very quickly. The Heat offense at the basket, though, has been hurried. It's been scattered as opposed to disciplined. This is what we want to do. Let's get the ball in a post situation with Cycli. Let's feed it with the men. Let's spot up Glenn Rice.
Contact goes out as the Hawks get Andrew Lang into the game. 6'11" Arkansas graduate in his 6th NBA season. As John Sally, Spider, steps to the line again. Sally, one of the Heat that does have championship experience. He won 2 NBA championships as a member of the Detroit Pistons. Spent 6 years in Detroit. Former Georgia Tech player, so visiting some old friends in Atlanta would like nothing better than to fully upset and make history for the 2nd time in these NBA playoffs. Denver did it yesterday, knocking off Seattle. Manning misses outside. Cycli, good block out.
Cycli can get in a rhythm like that. Miami can get right back on top.
Cycli around Lang. Finger roll is good. Ogman, no look. Threw it too hard somehow. Willis made the catch. Lang misses the follow. Heat on the fast break. 3-on-3. Smith thought about it. Spotted up Rice.
That's a much better thought there. Glenn Rice, the pure shooter. Steve Smith, much more the opportunistic scorer.
Rice with a 3, giving Miami a 14-12 lead.
Miami, very good defensive strategy. Trap Rookie a lot, trap Willis a lot. Make guys like Ogman and Lang contact handle the ball as much as possible.
Manning wide open. Try to get his own rebound. Instead, it's Ronnie Cycli again doing a good job on the boards.
Manning passed up a wide open 17-footer to make a double clutch in the seam of the defense.
Manning with a block, but can't save it. And we'll take a break. The Heat up by 2. The series is over. We asked John Sally of Miami about those remarks.
I shouldn't even dignify what Kevin Willis said with an answer, because a guy that only had 4 points, 2 points in one game and 6 in the next, and had the biggest mouth. Mookie should have been the one talking, but that shows all stars don't do talking. They talk with their game. Some guys talk with their mouths. I used to do that.
John Sally with a severe diss of Kevin Willis. Sally off to a good start in this game.
It's all about winning and losing. All the talk in the world doesn't mean anything.
Mookie Blaylock with a steal. And the dish. Shot block. Lang with a follow. And that breaks the 7-0 Miami run.
The Miami backcourt is not doing a good job of keeping Mookie Blaylock in front of you. He's able to get into the lane at will.
Tie game. Blaylock has been the big difference for Atlanta. From outside, Shaw misses a 3. Rebounded by Lang.
Lang, a solid position player, and a huge addition to this Atlanta team.
Blaylock can't hit the outside shot. Cycli had it. Lost it. Willis. What a play.
Atlanta's style in this game. Attack. Take the quick shot. Willis, Mookie Blaylock setting the pace.
Off by 2.
That will serve them well throughout.
Sally misses the jump hook. Cycli kept it alive for a moment. Then Lang clears it to Blaylock. Here's the Hawks break. Ogman. Oh, almost got it, but a foul. Brian Shaw committing the foul.
Kevin Willis, who's been relegated to a decoy role in this series because of the constant double teaming, has decided to get it done on the offensive glass, but Mookie Blaylock is continuing to find guys wide open. Miami cannot match up, cannot control the tempo, and Ronnie Cycli is flailing away at the offensive boards and really risking the fact of picking up his 3rd foul, which would take him out of the rest of the first half.
Ogman hits the free throws, giving Atlanta a 4-point edge. Clock shows just over 5 minutes left in the opening period.
Nice defensive pressure by Blaylock, taking time off the clock.
Smith finds a pass to the basket, then misses the shot. Miami gets a break, though, knocked out of bounds by Atlanta.
The defense by Atlanta only sending 1 shot blocker. That time Lang, leaving the power forward Willis to sweep the weak side glass.
Outside shot by Rice, no good, and finally the putback. And that is point number 6 for Brian Shaw. We saw that poignant feature on Brian Shaw and the loss of his parents in an auto accident over the summer on our Showtime program today.
Overcoming adversity, that's all what success in the NBA is about.
Atlanta has outscored Miami 8-2, counting that Manning shot since the last time out.
No, Manning hasn't had a lot of his shots go down. He's taken a lot of shots, which I think is a strong factor for Atlanta's success. He can't be just a passer out there.
Shaw feeds inside, and Smith puts it through. Steve Smith with his first basket.
But how quickly Atlanta is right into the action. Shot clock not a factor in their offensive set.
Manning shoots over the double team, and Cycli rips down his 4th rebound of the first quarter. Smith for 3. Shaw kept it alive, but hit it out of bounds. Grant Long into the game for Miami. Long, of course, served a 1-game suspension for his part in the fight here in Game 2, and is greeted rudely by the fans as he comes into the lineup. Cycli goes out.
It's good to be booed when you're the visiting team. That means you're doing something.
Blaylock to Lang. Blaylock penetrated, drew the defense, and had Lang wide open. Blaylock off to a great start for Atlanta.
Brian Shaw's just got to do a better job. Granted that Mookie Blaylock's one of the top point guards in the NBA. But the high screen and roll by Kevin Willis frees up. And the defense does not rotate. The man on the screener is not stepping up. Atlanta in control.
Hey, gourmet cooking.
2:18 at the 3:21 mark of the opening period. It's been a simple proposition for Atlanta. When they shoot well, they win. Even though they got away with a 47% game in number 4, and so far Atlanta's hit 10 of 20, 50% to only 39% shooting for Miami.
47% in the playoff, that's pretty darn good shooting in this era of basketball. Atlanta will tell you they just played poorly. Miami will say, hey, we're a great defensive team.
Bimbo Coles just into the game for Miami. Drives baseline and picks up the foul. Coles has had a sensational series, averaging 16 points a game.
Bimbo Coles, a huge factor in this series. With the struggles that Brian Shaw has gone through offensively, Bimbo Coles has come in and lit it up and kept Miami in the action.
And it took him about 18 seconds into the game before he made his first offensive move, and he did draw the foul. Coles hits the free throw. He'll have another. Craig Elo making his first appearance in the Atlanta lineup.
Coles, a very talented offensive player. Not the long-range shooter, although he can knock down the three. Much more of a 1 or 2 dribble and post-up or pull-up jump shooter.
Here's Mookie Blaylock. Mookie already with 5 assists in the first quarter.
Pick and roll.
Willis sets the pick. Elo has to give it up. Miami defends it well, so Augman shoots from outside, but Willis had an offensive board.
Fine defense by the Heat. You've got to get that weak side defensive rebound. That's what winning basketball games comes down to.
Willis passes out of the double team to Lang, who threads his way to the hoop. 6 points for Andrew Lang in a reserve role for the Hawks.
Both of these teams, Atlanta and Miami, suffer when they go to their backup centers in terms of overall defensive ability.
Augman saves it right back to Atlanta, and the outside shot by Rice. Instant Rice. That's his second trade. Blaylock is fouled.
Blaylock is determined. He's just going up and down the court. He's not worried about plays or strategy. He said, I'm going to get that ball and go to the hoop every time with it. When they stop me, then I'll make the decision at that time.
Mookie controlling the game so far with those numbers.
And so they take him out.
Well, he needs the break. As fast as he's been going, Ennis Watley has replaced him.
This is the kind of day, Tom, when you play the whole game.
Willis again double team. This time he throws it away. And the Miami defensive strategy pays off.
I like what Lockery has done with the double teaming with big guys so that Willis can't see the passing angle.
Rice. Long. It's fouled. Good offensive board work by Grant Long.
When they isolate the weak side offensive players up high to exploit the illegal defense rule in the NBA, if that guy will take a good run at the basket, really take a nice look at the shot, he'll often have fine opportunities at the glass.
Grant Long, 6th season out of Eastern Michigan, second-round draft choice, but the NBA is in his genes. His uncle John played 13 years in the NBA, John Long, and Terry Mills is his cousin. It's the free throws, and the Heat regains the lead.
Fine pressure by Bimbo Coles in the backcourt, testing Watley's ball handling and quickness.
Willis beat the double team with that shot, but couldn't get it down. Kept alive, and Watley has it. Elo for 3. Loose ball foul will be called. John Sally of Miami.
This is one of the real battles that you'll see all day, is Lockery very upset. The fact that his guys are picking up fouls while Willis is battling for position.
Two teams pretty even in rebounding numbers on the regular season, but so far Atlanta has doubled Miami on the board. Wayne Farrell into the Atlanta lineup. Manning. Pretty outside shot by Danny Manning.
shot. He is a much more effective player than trying to get cute, trying to get too creative. That was a fine opportunity there. Might as well take it the first time.
Manning has 4. Long's driving shot, no good. A tap, no good. Pulled down finally by Lang.
Andrew Lang is such a valuable contributor to this Atlanta team.
Watley is stripped. Here's Smith out racing Manning and missed it. Foul on Manning of Atlanta.
Manning was the only guy running back on defense. Every single Hawk in the game as the steal whipped by Steve Smith and the run out. But all the other Hawks, they just stopped and conceded. Manning says, I can get this. If he had another player coming with him, they might have been able to make a defensive play. You never stop running until the whistle's blown. Never concede a single point.
Steve Smith, the antique car collector, has been revved up in this series. Career highs 3 consecutive games, 22, 24, 25 points. He led all scorers in 3 of the first 4 games of this series. He puts down the free throws, and he has 4 points thus far.
He's really become the player everybody thought he would be, and it's his first healthy NBA season. Plagued by knee surgery his first 2 years.
Low post Lang against Cycling. Cycling, remember, has 2 fouls. Jump hook, a pretty one by Andrew Lang. Lang has 8 points off the Atlanta bench and 6 rebounds as well.
A player, Lang, plays totally within himself, listens to the coach, wants to be coached all the time.
Final 10 seconds of the opening period.
Fine defensive position by Manning here.
Coles created some space, and Mike Mathis nabbed him for the push-off foul.
One thing you really like about having officials in a game like this, like Mathis, O'Donnell, and Oates, is the fact they are more than willing to call that offensive foul.
Atlanta tries to get the last shot. Watley got it away, but missed at the buzzer. Well, the Atlanta Hawks have an unlikely hero in the first quarter. Off the bench, it's been Andrew Lang that's shown the way. Lang leading the Atlanta Hawks to a first quarter lead at the end of 1 at the Omni. Atlanta leading Miami by 1, 28-27. The second quarter in this decisive game 5, Atlanta up 1. Let's go to Dan Hicks.
All right, Tom. When we talked with Atlanta coach Lenny Wilkins yesterday, he said the style of play would be key today. I just talked with assistant coach Brian Winters. I said, are you happy with the style of play? He said, I got one word, tempo, and we're happy with it. And the key to that has been Mookie Blaylock, who already has 5 assists. Tom?
Mookie on the Atlanta bench, getting a rest at the moment.
Atlanta is playing great ball. Their tempo, their star. Mookie's got the big game going, yet they're only up by 1. Miami in solid position here.
Backcourt pressure this time from the Atlanta defense. Watley finally backs off, and Coles will set up the Heat offense.
Cross screens, roll Cycling into the post.
Cycling against Lang. Collision and a foul called on Atlanta. Cycling playing aggressive offensively, even though he had 2 quick fouls to start the game.
Wild might be a more appropriate term than aggressive. He lowers his shoulder. Lang appeared to have the great position. I like, though, the way that Miami got into that play. You got Smith, Rice, and Cycling playing 3-man basketball on one side, Long rebounding on the weak side, and Coles always able to take it and create his own on the weak side. Cycling, not that good this series. Bear in mind that he suffered the very serious ankle sprain just a month ago. Still got a lot of swelling now.
It's 1 of 2 at the line, and the game tied at 28. Manning. Rebounded by Smith.
That many dribbles to your offhand, you might want to think about passing the ball. Get a dribble hand up. People got to rotate off him rather than anticipate he's going to shoot. Cycling's got a mismatch.
And a foul called. It's called on Dwayne Farrell away from the ball. So Farrell of Atlanta called for his first foul.
I'd go back to Cycling in the low post right now. Got a little bit of a roll going.
Smith checked by Elo. And a traveling call on Steve Smith. Give Elo credit for the good deeds.
Elo always gets the responsibility of the tough defensive assignment.
After guarding Michael Jordan in the playoffs the last 3 or 4 years, Steve Smith doesn't seem so challenging.
Steve Smith, although no Michael Jordan, has got a solid game of his own.
Elo, of course, victimized by Jordan as a member of the Cavaliers in their playoff series against the Bulls in recent years. Here's the illegal defense call, the second against Miami, so Farrell will toe the line for the technical free throw. Brian Shaw returns for the Heat. And Smith will go out.
Post up Manning.
Farrell missed the jam. Watley tries to follow and is stripped away. Coles in a hurry for Miami. Rice for 3. Cycling batted it out of bounds.
Rice rushing it right there. Didn't have a good handle on the ball. Just another pass, it'll come right back to you. Teamwork is often what separates teams that are trying to get there and teams that are already there. Knicks playing great team ball right now.
Manning against Long. Wild shot, but it goes in. Manning has a half dozen. Long left open. Hands it from outside. Long range 2. Second bucket by Long.
Long can hit that shot. That's really one of the differences in the transitionary period of history of the NBA. The win right now is the big forwards can all hit spot-out jump shot.
And a foul called on Elo. He had a hold of Cole's arm. And Craig Elo called for his first foul. We'll take a break with the Hawks leading by 1.
The Suns battle the Rockets. The NBA playoffs continue. Who has been making quality automobiles in America for the past 11 years.
Happy Mother's Day from Atlanta. Tom Hammond, Bill Walton, Dan Hicks in Game 1 of our triple header today. This game will be followed by Dick Enberg and Snapper in Houston for Game 1 of that Western semifinal series between Charles Barkley and the Suns, Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets. And then in prime time, everyone's looking forward to this rematch as Scottie Pippen and the Bulls take on Patrick Ewing and the Knicks. 3 playoff games today here on NBC. And speaking of Mother's Day, 2 of the players in our game today, Craig Elo and Steve Smith, moms played basketball. Foul inside, either Manning or Lang. It's called on Manning, number 2.
They could have called fouls on either guy. They could have called illegal defense. 2 guys guarding a man underneath the basket without the ball. Dial a violation.
Well, they dialed Manning, and it's the second on Danny. Cycling posting on Lang, who came over the top to bat it away.
Lang does a very good job of not overextending what he's capable of doing. That time just stays right behind it, man, pushes him off the box, taps the ball out of bounds as opposed to trying to make the total steal.
Shot clock to 10. Cycling spins, again a wild move, and Cole's lost it. Farrell leads the Atlanta Braves 3-on-2. Farrell all the way, put back by Manning.
Boogie Blaylock making it all happen, generating the steal on Bimbo Cole mishandle.
Shaw penetrates and scores. Brian Shaw with 8 points. He leads the Miami attack. Shaw's hit 4 of his first 5 shots.
Miami is hanging right in there without having the strong performances from their 3 key guys, Cycling, Smith, and Rice. one of those guys gets hot, this game will turn quickly.
Manning missed everything. Elo with a save. Blaylock a quick three as the shot clock made it to 1. He missed the rim. It'll be a shot clock violation, Miami ball.
Brian Shaw has been able to get whatever he's wanted. Perimeter jumpers, drives to the hoop. Guys sliding along the side of them as opposed to getting your feet in their way, making them change direction.
Low post, Cycli draws the double team and travels. You made a point yesterday as we were talking about double teams and big men. They're waiting too long to pass out of it. They're waiting till it's a difficult play to make.
And who is Cycli going to pass to? Look at his forwards out there, Grant Long and John Sally, two guys who are not offensive machines.
Blaylock for 3.
When you got to post that guy like a Cycli who needs to be double teamed, you got to team him with spot-up shooters like Rice.
Jimbo Cole's quick shot. Blaylock kept it alive, but then Long swiped it. And a traveling call on Shaw down to the baseline.
Good job by the officials, keeping everything tight, under control early. The players will accommodate, adjust.
7th turnover committed by the Heat. Lang with a giant step and a slam. Blaylock again found the open man.
And a delay of game warning against Atlanta. That could hurt him at the end of this game. And they're trying to look at the last set play for Miami.
So the crowd into it quickly as Long fires them outside and sends them back to their seats. 6 points for Grant Long. But Andrew Lang has been a surprising force in the game. 5 of 6 from the floor, 10 points and 6 rebounds. Kevin Willis gets it down.
Again, it's all Mookie Blaylock. Kevin Lockery, he should start double teaming Mookie Blaylock in the backcourt to get the ball out of his hands wherever he is. None of the other Atlanta players have shown they've got the offensive control that he's got.
Shaw cut off. Now takes Brian Shaw. He's hit 5 of 6. He has 10.
Pick and roll.
And another illegal defense call against Miami. That's the 3rd here in the first half against Kevin Lockery's team. And timeout taken. 6.5 left in the first half.
Research has demonstrated that the air
Strong side action, pick and roll over here. The isolated high offensive players, but these two defensive guys, well, erase it right there. They've got to be above the foul line to not be illegal. They're below the foul line. All you need is 1 foot up there. That's where the illegal defense came into play.
And while we were away, Mookie Blaylock hit the technical free throw on the illegal defense, and the Hawks lead 38-36.
Augment in the post.
Gets the pass from Blaylock against Shaw. Now draws the double team. Lang. Bodies collide. Lang can't get the roll.
That's a fine play by Lang, though.
Augment picked it up, and his shot rolls off. 3-on-2 Miami break. Now Coles loses it. Shaw launches. And Rice with a good putback off the offensive board.
The Hawks caught in poor defensive transition matchups that time. Nobody got to Glenn Rice. That's normally Danny Manning's obligation. Everybody was trapped under the offensive glass.
Willis forced it. He was fouled.
The perimeter jumper by Shaw in the delayed break. Then pounding the glass by the Heat. Glenn Rice and Grant Long in there.
And Kevin Willis, who led the NBA in double-double triple-double points and rebounds this season with 55. As Atlanta improved 14 wins over this season, and he commemorates Kevin Willis with his shoes a divisional championship.
And they're very proud of their accomplishments this year, although they will be extremely disappointed if they don't move on to play Indiana in the second round.
This game will decide it. And right now, Atlanta has a 1-point lead.
Nice defense by Contact.
Augman picked it off. And a foul is called. John Contact's third personal foul.
Contact has gone to the bunker mentality, only shaving after the series is over. The careless foul, though. Shaw had no place to go. The shot clock was going to come into play. The Contact has really become one of this team's leaders since the departure of Dominique Wilkins.
Contact got the players together for a meeting before Game 4, and they responded with a resounding victory. And he just picked up his third foul, but he was lobbying with Lenny Wilkins to stay in the game. Wilkins had Elo at the scorer's table to come in for him, and Contact won the case. He'll stay in the game as Elo returns to the bench.
So the players always want to stay in the game. The coach has to make that decision. Contact's not going to be a guy that plays all the time. So this is a gamble that you might want to take in a big game like this.
Augman finds Contact underneath and one. He ought to go into the law profession. He lobbied successfully to stay on the floor and responds with a chance for a three-point play.
And he's also the type of player that can play within himself. Doesn't try to block a lot of shots. Just powers their Contact. A very strong and physical player like Lang. Been hugely criticized throughout his whole career for a giant contract that he signed at a time when big contracts were not prevalent in pro basketball. But really, that's the going rate for guys of his ability today. Not his fault that somebody wanted to pay him lots of money.
Contact has a mechanical engineering degree from SMU. Maybe should have gone into law as misses the free throw, and it's rebounded by Grant Long. Actually, you like Contact's play, don't you? As you mentioned, much maligned, but you like his game.
He plays a role. He plays it very well. The team leader, hard worker, disciplined performer.
And the quick hands of Blaylock. Contact spots him. Back to Augman.
Miami's got to get in control as Kevin Lockley wants a timeout.
Mookie Blaylock had a triple-double against Miami earlier in the season. Swipes that one, gets it in front court, and rips it to Augman for the jam. Sally.
That is certainly not John Sally's game, nor the play that Kevin Lockley would want out of a timeout.
Collision on the baseline. Offensive foul. Stacey Augman of Atlanta.
Although Sally's struggling on the offensive end, he always brings so much defensively. Tremendous position player, always in control. Forces you to beat him with difficult moves. That time taking the charge from Stacey Augman.
Miami's hit 5 of its 9 shots in this quarter.
Yet they're falling behind.
They're down by 4. Sally against Contact, and Shaw whips it in. Brian Shaw has had a good scoring first half, 13 points, and Miami's back within 2.
Steve Smith doing a fine job down low on Augman.
Manning fouled by Rice as he goes by.
Sally has missed every jumper he's tried tonight. He said, I'm going to become a passer. Shaw flashing to the ball. Willis at the post. Got it for Willis. Good post speed there.
The pass swiped away by Glenn Rice. Here comes Miami with a chance to tie the game. Shaw on the low post. Contact rejected.
Nice closeout there by Danny Manning.
Long. Kept alive by Sally. And then stolen by Atlanta. Willis all alone.
Contact. Good position defense. Bumped him with his chest. Knocked the ball away. Blaylock beating off it.
That basket by Shaw will not count. Instead, an offensive foul is called on Brian Shaw, and Lockery wants a 20-second timeout.
A moment ago, John Sally working with Willis in the low post. A lot of strength out there. Willis steps out to get it. Augman was bringing him the ball. And then Kevin Willis got out on that last break, keyed by John Concack's fine block. The foul, though, called on Glenn Rice, running over Mookie Blaylock in the transition game.
Foul called on Rice is his second.
Lockery had to take a timeout. 20 seconds.
This is the only first-round playoff series still going. We're in the decisive Game 5. Indiana, of course, awaits this winner after sweeping Shaq and the Magic. Chicago winning over Cleveland 3-0 against the disabled Cavaliers, and New York stopping the Nets 3-1. A bittersweet moment for Chuck Daly, who will go into the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts tomorrow night after being eliminated by the New York Knicks. And the Knicks and Bulls, Game 3 of our triple header here on NBC today. Contact short. Out of bounds to Miami.
Contact doesn't have quite that much range. Good that he spots up. He needs to move it in a little tighter.
Smith comes off a screen. Augman was decked on the play. And the foul called on Grant Long.
Grant Long is going to step as Steve Smith is coming up the lane. Augman takes the shortcut, and Long just lowers the boom on him. Referee doing an outstanding job of keeping everything under control from traveling violations on.
Manning, quick turnaround. Double figures for Manning. And the Hawks take their biggest lead.
Atlanta's defense, one of the best in the league.
Kicked out of bounds by Sally of Miami.
Miami's offense is just too helter-skelter at this point. And Atlanta's defense is feeding off that.
Willis with an outside shot that didn't have a prayer of going in.
Let him go. Let him go. He got 2 fouls already. 3 fouls, actually.
Contact sent to the deck. Foul call. It'll be 4 on John Contact.
And the look on Lenny Wilkins' face. Frustration, almost embarrassment. Looks like Contact had pretty good position there. Maybe a little bit of a lead at the last moment, but I think that's good position by Contact. And frustrated as he is, he's still got 4 fouls and out of the action for the rest of this half.
Tough call on Contact, who will take a seat with 4 fouls as Long misses the first free throw. Craig Elo is in for Contact.
With Andrew Lang playing as well as he has played, they can get away with Contact and foul trouble. Now's the time to double team Mookie Blaylock right there. Big Elo handled the ball. Rice is so far off of Elo.
Manning sets the screen, rolls to the basket.
Fine defense by Long.
Elo penetrates and finds Manning.
When you double team early, there's a scramble from that point on. Few players in the NBA better than Manning at that little short jump hook.
Danny Manning, who's found new life in his career, coming over from the Clippers, and a chance for a championship championships at the dozen points. That shot short, and Blaylock feeds D'Lo.
Atlanta playing very well, capitalizing on Miami's mistake of their guards, Steve Smith and Brian Shaw, getting caught underneath the basket far too often.
Suddenly a 9-point lead as Atlanta has ripped off a 12-3 run.
This is conditioning and home court advantage paying off.
Sally's pass picked off by Willis.
By Mookie Blaylock.
Final 30 seconds of the half. Manning misses out front. Rice pulls it down. Miami can take the final shot. They put it up right away, and the roll good by Steve Smith for a 3. Atlanta will hold for the final attempt of the half.
Spread the floor. Get to a high pick and roll here. Let Mookie make the decision. Don't complicate it.
And an answering tip by Smith goes awry. Mookie Blaylock has done it all in the first half. Look at this shot. From mid-court nearly. Bang! Yes!
When you're this hot, just throw it up. It's been Mookie's day to this point. He closes the first half with his signature.
8 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. And at the half, the Hawks lead the Heat by 10. The Prudential halftime report is next after these messages.
The Hawks had 12 offensive rebounds to only 11 defensive rebounds. Mookie Blaylock, though, this has been his day.
So Mookie Blaylock has turned down the Heat in the first half. The Hawks lead by 10. Will return for the third quarter in just a moment. The first half behind the play of Mookie Blaylock.
Blaylock had the strong half, but what Miami has to do, they got to take better care of the ball. They had 5 turnovers in the last 5 minutes of the first half that fueled the Hawks' 15-5 run. Very strong defense by Atlanta, getting out in the break. Plus, their offense has got to become more disciplined. They can't just run down and throw it up. Guys like Steve Smith, Cycli, and Glenn Rice have got to say, hey, we're playing our game from now on.
John Koncak starting the second half for Atlanta despite foul trouble as Cycli forces one up over him, and Willis clears the rebound.
This is the time after a tight first half called by 3 fine veteran officials that it'll get a little loose out here.
Blaylock misses from outside, but Willis has the offensive board. 2 teams come back with their original starting 5s. Manning, Willis, Koncak, Augman, Blaylock for Atlanta. Rice, Sally, Cycli, Shaw, and Smith, Miami, and Koncak from outside.
The confidence of John Koncak. What a remarkable difference over the last 5 years. And Mookie Blaylock continues to just do everything.
Blaylock finished the regular season 3rd in the league in both assists and steals. And there is another steal. Blaylock deflected the pass to Manning.
Look at his court vision and sense. Always looking for somebody else.
Contact. He hit his first 2 of his first 3 outside shots to open the game, and comes back in the second half with 2 outside shots.
A tempo player, a rhythm player, Koncak. When he gets going, he can do so many things to help your team. Not spectacularly, but efficiently, John Koncak.
Steve Smith follows his own shot that cuts the lead back to 12. Just off the mark, and Sally clears it for Miami.
I don't know if that's a reality check or a heat check there.
Smith with a step on Augman. Koncak got a piece. And a foul call.
The hardest thing to do for the big man. What Koncak just did, forcing the miss and then getting the own rebound. Mookie Blaylock, though, in transition, the hesitation down the lane, finding the trailer, big men running the floor.
Smith committing the Miami foul, and the Hawks take possession, leading 58-46. Manning, low post. Cycli rejected it.
The Eastern Conference knows that move by Danny Manning, and every Eastern Conference team sends that right back. That was his bread and butter from the right block when he was playing for the Clippers out west. That weak side comes so quick in the Eastern Conference.
Blaylock gets right by Shaw. Couldn't finish. Manning couldn't tap it home. Shaw has it for Miami.
Miami has fallen behind by 12. They need offense. They might want to think about Harold Miner.
Rice misses for long range. Willis, baseball pass, picked off by Rice.
Too much range, and guys like Glenn Rice, they can just drop back and cover the whole court.
Cycli beats Salad.
The Hawks will take that play every time. Get the ball out of Cycli's hand with a double team. Make John Sally beat you with spot-up 17-foot jumpers. Don't know if that'll decide this game or not.
Jump ball is called as Cycli ties up Willis. They'll jump at the Miami free throw line.
Blaylock and Manning got the position outside for the tap back for Willis.
Cycli batted it, though, to Brian Shaw, and Miami has the ball with a chance to reduce the lead to single digits.
Helps to have longer arms on that jump ball there for Cycli.
Shaw, they left him open, and Brian Shaw having a good offensive game. That's his 15th point, and he's been a dead-eye shooter, hitting 7 of 9. The lead down to 8. Are leading the Heat in the Eastern Conference. This is the only first-round series still intact. The winner moves on to face the Indiana Pacers in the conference semifinals. Brian Shaw keeping Miami in the game just about single-handedly. He's hit 7 of 9, 78%. The only Heat player shooting over 50% from the floor.
This is where Miami can hurt Atlanta, forcing them to play set offense. Get guys like Augman trying to create.
Manning, quick turning shot. Didn't look like a good one, but there's no way to defend it, and Manning popped it through.
A real key to Manning's game is how many shots he takes, and he's got a lot of. He had 12 attempts in the first half.
He said people accuse him sometimes of not being aggressive in this series, but what they need is not scoring points. He said he was aggressive. He was shooting. The shots just weren't dropping. Cycli goes down with a look of disbelief. Loose ball foul.
The moment before on offense, Manning got the shorter player, just turns, pulls the trigger right in his face. And at the other end, John Koncak forces the pull-up jumper, drops back into solid position. Cycli not moving enough.
Cycli with a takedown, called for his 3rd foul. Shaw almost intercepted. Manning recovered, couldn't get it down. Smith spotted for 3. Not his own.
Augman running by the shooter.
Missed from in close, did Steve Smith. He continues to struggle.
And every time Miami battles back, Brian Shaw makes the big shots. But no attempt to get over the hump, or no ability to get over the hump to this point.
Steve Smith has hit only 3 of 11 shots as Glenn Rice commits the foul.
Tough foul on Rice that time. His 3rd. No chance, really, of that shot going in for Stacey Augman. He's more of a transition-type player. He's trying to create from himself with a running left-hander moving to his right from 18 feet with no angle.
Stacey Augman in Game 4 had his career playoff high, 19 points. Not known as a scorer, and will be the subject of some off-season attention from Lenny Wilkins in that department.
Lenny Wilkins didn't really have a chance to work in this first offseason with all the guys trying to change around the mechanics of some of their physical skills. Augman not a textbook shooter.
Cycli calling for it again. Made the good fake of Willis and put it through. Nice play by Ronnie Cycling.
And he will need lots more of that to cut into this 10-point lead.
5th point for Cycling.
Good turn back by Cycling.
Concac misses outside. Shaw picks it up. Numbers Miami. Rice tried to dish it to Smith, who was expecting the shot, and Miami turns it over.
That's why you don't jump in the air to pass the ball. Rice overextended himself, got in the air. All he could do was pass after the defense, and Miami continues to accumulate careless turnovers.
Willis got it back from Concac and laid it through. Kevin Willis has 11 points.
The give and go, and again, Concac, the solid contributions in so many different areas. Mookie Blaylock with the ball. The slash off the fake high screen. John Sally was stepping out to deny that high screen. And then Blaylock kicked it to Concac, who hit the slashing Willis.
Manning has just been called for the foul. He goes to the bench with 3. Cycling again on the low post against Concac. Travels. Trying to pass it back out and move his pivot foot. And the 14th Miami turnover. Timeout taken by the Heat. 6:18 left in the third, and the Hawks in control. Has had a good game so far.
I never really pictured Kevin Willis as being someone who wanted to be treated like a baby. We didn't have that sort of relationship when we played against each other.
Kevin belying his reputation and proving he is indeed a sensitive sort of guy. Craig Elo hits the 3, and the Heat continue to struggle to stop the Atlanta offense. Hawks pouring it on.
Steamrolling right now, front running, surging, feeding off the crowd. Responded to the Hawks' spectacular play.
Sally's shot batted away by Augman. That'll be a goaltending call. We'll keep our eye on Mookie Blaylock, who has been the key figure for the Atlanta Hawks today. Mr. Sensitive Kevin Willis just sent John Sally flying and is whistled for the personal foul. Hattie, I'm sure will forgive him that and baby him when he gets home.
Kevin Willis hits a careless foul. Sally knows in these games, even though there may be a big spread right now, in all likelihood it's going to come down. Miami's not going to give up. They're going to keep fighting back, and Sally with relentless pressure will try to take Willis out of this game. And silly fouls like that will help Miami.
Rice with a careless turnover. Elo made a swipe at it, but really it was unforced, and Miami continues to struggle on both ends of the court. Kevin Lockery has seen his team disintegrate here in the final minutes of the first half and to begin the third. Elo reverses, can't finish it.
No weak side defense at all for Miami.
And Willis digs it out. Augman held. Foul called on Miami. Steve Smith has his second.
Miami just seems to be stuck in cement today. Everything they try to do just doesn't work.
And actually, this is the Atlanta team everyone expected to see in the playoffs after their great regular season run.
And the games that Miami won, that was the team that everybody hoped Atlanta would become. There's so much potential, but isn't that really the heaviest burden in all of sports, is potential?
Smith, bad pass, another Miami turnover. Elo whips it into front court to Augman. Augman, finger roll, Elo follows.
And where are the Miami guys running back on defense? Miami's guards, Shaw, Rice, Smith getting trapped underneath the basket. Atlanta just sprinting out.
Sally. John Sally lays it in baseline, his 11th point. Four minutes left in the third. Loose ball claimed by Willis.
Elo diving for it, the Heat reaching for it. The difference in this game.
Blaylock penetrates. Cycli got a piece of it. Shaw takes it the other way. 3-on-1 Miami break. Shaw lays it up and in. That's the lead back to 11. 17 points in the game for Brian Shaw, who had been averaging only 5 in this playoff series, and timeout taken by Atlanta. It's a 20-second timeout, and gives us a chance to remind you this is only the first of a Mother's Day triple header here on NBC. Dick Enberg and Snapper are standing by in anticipation of the battle between Charles Barkley off that great game against Golden State, and Hakeem Olajuwon, and the Rockets having to hurry home after dispatching Portland to get ready for this game 1. That'll follow this game. And then in prime time, the third game of our tripleheader, the much anticipated series between Pippen and the Bulls, Ewing and the Knicks. Marv and Matt standing by to give you that one later today. A great playoff tripleheader here on NBC. And if this one holds the way it's going right now, it'll be Atlanta moving in to face Indiana in the Eastern semifinals.
Lenny Wilkens doing a fine job of utilizing his timeout to get rest for his players rather than substituting. This point of a playoff series, you got to go with your main guys the whole way down this stretch, even if they are tired.
Lenny Wilkens was your first coach, is that right?
One of 6 Hall of Fame coaches that I had the privilege of playing for.
So that explains. Willis from outside. Lost it. Saved, however, and the Heat retain possession.
But they waste 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Cycli hits.
One of the few times today that Miami's been able to penetrate and dish for a spot-up shooter. That style of basketball, that's what wins championships. Not enough teams that are trying to get there employ that style.
Willis, goaltending by Cycli. Credited to Kevin Willis, and Kevin now with 15 points. Willis averaged 19 a game in the regular season, but it held to only 11 in this series.
And Willis able to flash easily to the ball. You can't allow guys like Kevin Willis who can deliver with that jump hook, that deep post position.
Illegal defense called against Atlanta.
Number 1, Enos Watley replaces
Watley for Blaylock in the Atlanta lineup. Long and Coles come in for Miami.
Prime opportunity for for Miami to make a surge right now. Some of the good runs in this series have been with this lineup for Miami.
And Bimbo Coles, who's been a lot of offense for the Heat, only 2 points on 2 free throws in the first half, took only 1 other shot from the field, and Cycli with a miss, Willis with a rebound.
Good in and out offense that time by the Heat. You just got to make shots.
Bad pass saved by Elo. And a hacking foul on Sally.
How about the contributions of Craig Elo? Not a player you look at and say, wow, I got to get this guy. These are my spectacular players. He grabs his right hamstring a little bit. Hate to see that at this time of the season, but just the court sense, the presence of mind, and really Kevin Willis as well to react, leave the deep post area, come quickly to the ball.
Elo played for Lenny Wilkens in Cleveland, and Wilkens, when he took the Atlanta job this season, instrumental in getting Elo on this Hawk team. Elo coming over as a free agent. Kevin Willis, now in this quarter, has scored 7 points and has 6 rebounds in this third period. So Kevin Willis, quiet much of the playoffs, really turning it on in this decisive Game 5.
What's really helped him is going right away and not waiting for the double team to come his way to take him out and force him into being a passer.
Sally can't get away from Willis. Shaw for 3. Kept alive by Sally.
But Lang and Willis in perfect position.
Cycli continues to shoot poorly, and Willis has another board. Kevin is controlling the defensive glass at the moment.
The position defense, they're forcing the Heat in a difficult shot.
Long rebound to Lang, and Atlanta gets another chance as we approach the final minute of the period.
Nice job by Lang. Quickly right back to the point guard, reset, as opposed to forcing up a shot that it really has no chance of going in.
Manning calls for it down low. Up and under, came up short. Cycli clears to Coles.
The swarming defense by Atlanta.
No over and back. It was touched by Atlanta.
An inadvertent whistle stopped the play, but Jake had it called the whole time.
He has a big grin on his face as he makes the correct call, and here's the boos from the crowd, but did make the correct call. Coles fired away by Lang. Senator Lang.
Terrific team defense. Enos Watley down low, forces Bimbo Coles to double clutch. When that double clutch happens, the big guy's right there to knock it. Just please, keep it in bounds. It's not volleyball.
Coles under pressure, hits the three at the shot clock, and then lets Willis hear about it. I don't know if I want to tangle with Kevin Willis, but Bimbo Coles was right in his face as he hit the three with Willis flying at him.
You got to go right at those big guys.
I didn't see anybody going after you, especially of the little variety. Bimbo Coles at 6'2", taking on the 7-footer Willis.
Watley's got to come back and handle that ball.
Here's that sequence with Bimbo Coles.
Willis flies by him. Good effort there. Bimbo Coles taunting Willis. Willis calling for that ball. Referees going to crack down on that in the future.
Bimbo obviously heard the Mother's Day greeting by Kevin and realizing what a sensitive person he really was. Took a chance.
All Kevin Willis has to do is say, scoreboard, baby. We're up 12.
Manning trying to make it 13.
Good pressure by Elo. Not really his strength that far into the back court, but he'll put the extra effort and sacrifice in.
Final seconds of the third quarter. Last touch by Willis of Atlanta. Miami gets it.
Miami handling the double team very poorly, waiting too long. Nobody coming to the ball until the shot clock is so far down that by the time you get it, you're basically forced to shoot it quickly. Good communication, Watley and Manning on the weak side here defensively.
Shot clock to 3. Sally got it away. And as the horn sounds to end the quarter, the ball out of bounds. Kevin Willis put a charge in the Atlanta attack in that third quarter. 8 points and 7 rebounds in the quarter. 17 and 9 for the game. Atlanta has the lead with 1 quarter left to decide who stays alive in the playoffs. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Back at the Omni in Atlanta, the Hawks with a 13-point lead as they head to the fourth quarter over the Miami Heat. Bill Walton, you have been emphasizing all game long, where has Glenn Rice and Steve Smith been? Well, I just talked to Alvin Gentry, the Miami assistant coach, and he told them that they have to get involved in the fourth quarter if the Heat are to make up this 13-point deficit. Let's send it back to Tom Hammond.
All right, Dan, and the final 12 minutes to prove decisive, and the Hawks looking good now. The big three will have to really step it up. Willis, a chance for a three-point play. There's a guy that has stepped it up in the second half.
Willis, who was not an offensive factor statistically early in this series because of the strategy of Kevin Lockery to double team him in the low post, has come up big today. A lot of movement away from the ball. Terrific three-man game plays. Elo, Manning,
basketball until he was a junior in high school in Detroit, was a distance runner in track, has come on to be a star in the NBA, leading the league in double-doubles this season, having a career high in points, and has 20 points in this fifth and deciding game.
And you can look at the intensity in Willis's face. He is not about to let this slip away.
Long misses an off-balance shot, got his own, still can't hit. Got it back the third time. It's the charm. Grant Long with a chance for a three-point play. Well, Grant Long hasn't given up. Right in there scrapping for Lockery's team.
The effort has been there throughout for Miami. When it takes you those 4, 5, 6 attempts underneath, you've got to be able to execute. You've got to be able to come with skills. The Heat have them. It has just not been their day.
Long with the free throw. And the three-point trip. 79-66 with 11:23 on the clock.
The question is for Lenny Wilkens, how long does he leave Mookie Blaylock on the bench? Does he want to take a risk of letting Atlanta or...
Didn't need him. Got Elo on there. Elo with the lob to Willis for the slam. Elo with the assist. Willis is 22nd point. He's making sure that prediction was on target.
The double team constantly. Atlanta forcing Miami to beat you with Grant Long shooting perimeter jump shots.
Elo, no look to Lang. And a putback by Manning. Manning has 17.
Kevin Lockery is skewing the timeout strategy. But look at the swarming defense for Atlanta. Really a huge turnaround from what this team has traditionally been. Wherever the ball goes, you got Elo, Watley, whoever just double teaming. That time, though, on the offensive end, a couple of moments ago, Elo, the picture-perfect pass from the perimeter.
Open shot. Long passed it up from outside, took it on the dribble, and was lucky to get a foul call. Well, coming up, we'll have Phoenix against Houston, and we're happy to report that KPRC TV in Houston has lifted the blackout in that city, so Rocket fans in Houston can thank KPRC and the NBA for lifting the blackout, and they'll be able to see Game 1 of that Western semifinal series. Ronnie Cycli takes the break as John Sally comes back for Miami. And the blackout lifted here in Atlanta as well. The fans, we presume, enjoying the Hawks run. The game was close for all but about the last 2 minutes of the first half.
Nice job by Bimbo Coles defensively, denying Watley possession of the ball, forcing Elo, not a noted playmaker, but doing a good job today to handle the ball.
Been a lot of heroes for Atlanta today. Lang early off the bench. Blaylock throughout the game, and here recently Willis and Elo. And that's been the pattern for the Hawks as the foul is called. They don't have one go-to guy. It's been spread around, and today, as we said, a number of heroes for the Hawks to enjoy an 83-66 lead.
It's been enough today. It only gets tougher from here. There's a very good Indiana team waiting in Indianapolis today.
The Suns battle the Rockets. The NBA playoffs continue next on NBC. Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes us back to April 23rd, the Hawks' final regular season game at the Omni. And by virtue of this 93-89 victory over Orlando, the Hawks captured their 57th victory of the season, clinching the best record in the Eastern Conference and home court advantage for the playoffs. Atlanta, 14 wins in Lenny Wilkens' first season as head coach, more than last season, the second greatest improvement in the NBA. And in recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Technical free throw by Steve Smith is good. Here's what happened.
Willis flashing to the ball, the elbow to the body by Sally. Then Willis, the retaliation to the head. Willis has got to be above that. Elbows to the body are much different in contact to the head. You never get hurt, a little poke in the ribs there, but to the head is a much different story.
The personal foul called on Sally and a technical foul on Willis. It's 83-67 Atlanta. Lang fumbles, can't recover. Coles to Long. Off-balance shot, bad shot by Long. Wasted possession.
How many times did he take steps?
Yeah, it didn't look like he traveled at least twice.
In that situation, just pull it out. Give it back to your guard. We said at this point of the game, you're down 16 points. Every possession is so crucial.
All the way Willis. Nothing but air.
Good to see Mookie Blaylock back in the game for Atlanta.
Long rejected by Andrew Lang, but a foul called on Atlanta.
That possession for Miami was a perfect indication of the strategy that Lenny Wilkens is using in his locker. He's so frustrated, so disappointed. But Long was just open the whole time. You got Manning staying home with Rice out in front. Rice's man staying with him. Steve Smith, Bimbo Coles, all the shooters are staying home all day.
Long has taken 6 of the Heat's 7 shots in this quarter. What happened to the big three?
This is what happened to him, and it's not the kind of day you think back fondly when you're sitting on the porch with the grandchildren saying, remember Game 5 against Atlanta.
Miami picking up full court now, and Manning beats it with a pass to Lang in front court. Manning working his way against Long, and is called for the offensive foul.
Long with the terrific position. Manning trying to force it a little bit. When you're in trouble, you don't have something. Just dribble the ball at somebody else's defensive man. Have him rotate right off you. Now you're into good dribble handoff action.
Number 4 on Manning. 8:25 to play. Atlanta still in control. There's a quick foul. That shot by Smith will not count. Is that on Manning?
Manning and Long really mixing it up along the baseline there.
That's 5 fouls on Danny Manning.
2 on consecutive plays. Grant Long mentally getting inside Danny Manning's head. Manning claiming that Long threw him down. He might have a point.
The one in the penalty for Long, who has been the sole offense for Miami in the 4th. Lenny Wilkens quickly gets Kevin Willis in for Manning.
If I'm Atlanta right now, I try to get Mookie Blaylock back in control of this game. Get him some screens, get him running up and down. He sat out so long. Now Manning's in foul trouble.
Miami back within 13. Elo.
Craig Elo making the Heat pay for their strategy of going to a trap, which they're really forced to do because they're so far down at this point. And you got spot-up shooters like Craig Elo. Andrew Lang. The game of his life.
He said, get it out of here. And the Hawks, Altman finds Blaylock, fired for the 3. Bingo! Timeout, Miami.
The fast break started by Andrew Lang, having a huge game, 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Then the 3-on-2 fast break. Augman caught in the air, but Elo keeps it alive with that little tap back to Augman, who swings it into the corner to Blaylock. The 3, the crowd is into it, the Hawks rolling.
Mookie had 2 triple-doubles in the regular season, one of them against Miami, and he's only 4 rebounds shy of a triple-double in this 5th and deciding playoff game. 11 points, 14 assists, and 6 rebounds.
And it so often happens when a team wins a big game like this so decisively, everybody contributing. Contact, Lang, Blaylock, Willis, Osman, Elo, Manning, they've all done fine jobs.
Blaylock in a hurry. Missed it.
But big guys running the court, keeping it alive in the offensive glass. Lenny Wilkins doing a nice job not letting his team settle and start pulling it back. They're pushing.
That's the Hawks style, and it's been productive for them today. Elo missed everything. Smith for 3. Long off the offensive glass. It'll count. And 1.
Lenny Wilkins working Craig Elo on the sideline a little bit there. We don't need that kind of shot, especially if it's an air ball. But Grant Long, who's been by far the glowing ember of the Miami Heat today.
Well, in this 4th quarter, Long has taken 9 of their 11 shots.
How many of them have gone in?
Not too many. 2.
Well, not really how many you make, it's how many you take.
Spoken like a true NBA player. Lang missed that one. Everybody's getting in on the act. Fortunately for Atlanta, they claim the rebound.
3-man basketball, step out, slash to the ball, pop out on the weak side. Beautiful motion by Atlanta.
Blaylock to Lang on the pick and roll.
Bimbo calls irate the fact that no foul was called when Andrew Lang just threw him to the ground and kicked the ball out of bounds. The frustration starting to set in for Miami.
12 points, 9 boards for Lang. Sally left open. And a loose ball foul called after that basket.
Lang is right left of your screen, just throws Bimbo out of the way, finishes up, but no rotation. Somebody's got to come in there and make Lang do something else with the ball. Guy coming to the hoop, 10 feet away, the easy, uncontested dunk.
And timeout taken by Lockery and the Heat. The Pacers sweeping Orlando, and they'll meet the winner of this series. Let's go to Dan Hicks.
All right, thank you, Tom. And with Ed Badger, the advanced scout for the Indiana Pacers, what are you going to go back and tell Larry Brown, the coach of the Pacers, about this Hawk team, Ed?
Well, Dan, we got to take care of the ball. They do a very good job with their defense, turning turnovers into fast breaks. You know, we're worried about that post-up game with Willis, and overall they've solved the press, which gave them trouble in Game 4. So we got a few things to talk about when we get back there.
All right, we'll look forward to it. Thanks, Ed. Tom?
All right, Dan, the Pacers, a hot team the Hawks will be facing if this lead holds up.
And you've also got Danny Manning and Larry Brown, 2 guys with a long and storied history.
Won the 1988 NCAA championship at Kansas.
And then we're, of course, reunited on the Clippers.
The games between Atlanta and Indiana were close during the regular season. 3 of the 5 times they met, the game decided by 3 points or less.
Ball movement, come to the ball, keep running, keep pushing yourself, and make spot-up jumpers. Shot clock
to 5 as Blaylock unloads.
Miami's got to somehow find guys like Glenn Rice.
That'll get it started with a 3. Glenn Rice with a hand in his face. Connects on the 3-pointer. The lead 90-79 and a turnover by the Hawks as Augman can't handle the pass.
A lot of time left for Miami, particularly if Atlanta's going to continue to play like that.
Glenn Rice hitting that three on only his second shot of the half. Let's see if Miami has one last gasp run at the Atlanta Hawks. Elo with a near steal. Sally from 16.
Again, though, Grant Long, John Sally handling the ball all the time. Atlanta taking it away from Cole, Smith, and Rice. Strategy. Lenny Wilkins, Hall of Fame. Second winningest coach in the history of the NBA.
Sally, foul. Number 5. There's Lenny Wilkins. You said earlier you did play for him. He was your first coach. Is his image of being very soft-spoken true? Is that the way he is on the bench and in practice?
He's very forceful and firm, but in a quiet, reserved way. The way all the great coaches that I played for were. Never really played for any of the screamers and yellers.
Kevin Willis. Some players don't need that sort of external motivation, though. They need to be yelled at occasionally.
Well, motivation was never one of my problems. I had a lot of other problems, but nothing was more important to me than winning these games.
Rice badly misses a three. Here comes Atlanta again as we approach the 4-minute mark.
Nice patience by Augman, realizing that he's not a brilliant offensive player, strictly off the dribble.
Willis. Manning tapped once. Smith hauls it down. Coles. Finally, we hear from Bimbo Coles again. 7 points in the game.
Atlanta needs to just keep playing, keep attacking. Don't start thinking the clock right now. A lot of time left in this game. Get too conservative here, you lose your momentum.
Coles with a flop, trying to draw the charge. Off-balance shot by Manning.
Manning had Mookie and Elo standing wide open for spot-up. Give it up.
Alley. And suddenly the Miami Heat showing life there within 9. And the Hawks will take a timeout as the Heat turns it up. NBA playoff history, they'll take on Utah, who dispatched the Spurs 3-1. And the first game of the series you'll see coming up next, Phoenix and Houston. Any thoughts in the West, Bill?
Questions for Denver. Can Mutombo slow down Karl Malone inside the way he was so effective against Seattle? And Stockton versus Robert Pack, the huge matchup there. Akeem looks a little tired right now. Barkley is rolling. But both those teams, Houston and Phoenix, really see a bright light at the end now that Seattle is no longer involved. That series takes on added pressure.
Miami with a rebound to the Willis Smith. Cole to Smith. That's a free. It won't go. Battle for the rebound between Augman and Long, and the foul called on Stacey Augman of Atlanta. At the 7-minute mark, Atlanta had its biggest lead, 18 points, and since then, Miami has outscored the Hawks 13-4.
And look at how Miami has got back into it by the mistakes of Atlanta. Augman drops the ball out of bounds. Mookie misses a foul line jumper to beat the shot clock. Manning forces a jumper when he's got Elo and Blaylock spotted up. Miami feasting off that. Long rebounds off of missed three-pointers. Rice, Smith, 2 of the game's best clutch performers. Now's their time.
Grant Long shooting for his 11th point of the quarter. And the lead cut to 7. Blaylock thought about it. Backs it out to set it up on the half court.
I like Blaylock's thoughts.
Shot clock to 6 as Manning moves to the hoop and draws the foul. Glenn Rice calls for the personal, a push of Manning, number 4 on Rice. 1 on the penalty for Manning.
Manning's going to go to the line here on the same shot that he tried a moment ago from a different spot on the floor, of course. Didn't get a foul called. But during the timeout, he worked the officials a little bit and said, hey, come on, I'm getting pushed, I'm getting ridden. The next time he goes, the same type of move, gets the foul call.
John Contact, who has been in foul trouble most of the game, returns for Willis in the Hawk lineup.
Contact, who hasn't played much in the second half, has got to be stiff as can be.
Manning misses the second. Miami with a chance, trailing 93-85. Fumbled ball by John Sally. Blaylock, open. And that could be the killer. That might turn off the heat.
Mookie Blaylock getting a career playoff high in assists. They find guys like Stacey Yardman, guys like Willis on the break. The enthusiastic celebration, pounding the drums, setting the pace, driving that train.
Mookie Blaylock has had a tremendous Game 5. He has controlled the tempo from the outset. And with 2:08 left, the Hawks lead 95-85, back to a 10-point margin. Fast break points today. Atlanta has outscored Miami 29-11.
Mookie Blaylock has approached this game like a truly great player, coming into, hey, I'm just going to run, I'm going to push it. Decision, I'm going to have the ball in my hands all day. This is my game. I was born to play it. I live to play it. What I live for.
Sally. Contact. Lost it. And it rolls through for John Sally.
Nice job by the Hawks getting it right back inbounds, getting the ball over the timeline early in the shot clock. Not have to force it up later.
Inside 2 minutes. You see the shot clock under 10. Blaylock. Bank it in. It's been that kind of game. Now with 13 points, 17 assists, and 8 boards.
No matter how good the defense is, when a man's in that type of zone like Blaylock, nothing you can do.
Manning, not wanting to foul, concedes the layups along.
Atlanta will be content to just trade baskets at this point, particularly if they can easily get to the foul line.
Long with a foul of Augman. And so with 1:11 left, it appears the Hawks will advance to the conference semifinals against Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers. 3-2 during the season, as we said, all close games, with 3 of the 5 decided by 3 points or less. And both Willis and Miller had big games against their prospective opponent.
But these teams have changed so much over the course of the year. Dominique, of course, the big trade bringing Manning in. They're a different team here in Atlanta. And Indiana, a huge turnaround since the first of the year, playing tremendous basketball. One thing you'll find from Indiana is they put great defensive pressure on the ball, bringing it up the court. Reggie Miller, Haywood Workman, these guys are going to test Mookie to the limit.
Well, that lessen the effectiveness of Mookie a little bit, the fact that they do pressure the ball so well.
We'll just have to find out how good Mookie really is.
All right, we'll be back after these messages from your local station. A 10-point deficit. The Hawks leading the Heat 99-89. And Kevin Lockery, the Miami coach who has lived in Atlanta for over 20 years, hoping he wouldn't be able to go to his home here in Atlanta for a while. Looks like he'll be heading there soon. Away from the ball, a foul. Kevin Lockery has been under fire somewhat, despite the fact that the Heat made the playoffs just barely. What's his future with this franchise?
The best thing for the Miami Heat to do is take some time off. Think about it. Look at the things in the long run. Look what the future of the ball club is. Guys like Ronnie Cycli, Steve Smith, Glenn Rice, Harold Miner. Decide whether they're making the correct progress. Of course, Lockery, a lifetime coach in the NBA, great player himself in his own right. He has brought this team to this level. Now they've got to move on to the next. So much potential on this team. The expectations incredibly high.
Miami recording 42 regular season wins, their best regular season ever. And then the shocker by coming to the Omni and winning here for the first time in their franchise history to take a 1-0 lead in the playoffs. They extended it to 5, but it looks like the Hawks will prevail. In the final minute now, and a foul as contact is hacked and will step to the strike.
Every one of Lenny Wilkins' substitutions have paid off tonight. He left contact in when he picked up his 4th foul. He brought contact in for Willis. That's paid off. Contact has done a good job here.
Well, now I know that you like Phil Jackson. The job he's done with the Bulls, with Michael Jordan gone, still having a great regular season and opening their semifinal playoff series against the Knicks later today on NBC. But what about Lenny Wilkins?
He's done an unbelievable job. He's accomplished the hardest thing to do, and that's turn around the spirit of a team. What Pat Riley did with the Knicks, that's what Lenny Wilkins has done here. That's the essence of coaching. Get guys to believe in themselves, make them better to play as a team.
And a dramatic turnaround in here by Wilkins, a 14-win improvement from last season to this, and the top seed in the East. They struggle in this series, but they'll advance to the conference semifinals against the Indiana Pacers. And they'll have the home court advantage. Contact with an exclamation point on the end of an Atlanta Hawk victory. John Contact began the game by hitting an outside shot, and he will end it by hitting an outside shot as the Hawks will let the time expire and will make their plans to host the Indiana Pacers in the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series. Mookie Blaylock, one of many stars for the Atlanta Hawks today. Bill Walton, you have to be impressed with the balance and diversity that this Hawk team showed today.
Everything that Miami tried to do in terms of countering the surging Hawk team, they just kept moving the ball, and somebody else was able to deliver. That team basketball, that style will get you to the championship level.
Kevin Willis had a big game. Mookie Blaylock, Danny Manning, Andrew Lang, and Dan Hicks is with 2 of the stars of the Hawks.
Thank you very much, Tom. I'm with Danny Manning and Mookie Blaylock, 2 of the key principals here in the Hawks win. Danny, I know you guys had a chance to watch Denver pull off the big upset over Seattle yesterday. How important was it for you guys to get a big lead today and not get into a dangerous situation in the end?
That was a very motivating game for me, just because the simple fact that we win here, the longer we win, the more home court advantage we have, because now we're the best, we're the only team with a record that's good enough to hold home court throughout the playoffs, so I was really excited about that.
You came over here in the end of February. Are you surprised how quickly this team has gelled now that they're in the second round?
Not at all. I just come in and try to fit in. I think the coaches and my teammates have done a great job of making the transition easy for me, and I just try to go out and play hard.
Mookie Blaylock, you told us yesterday that this would be indeed the biggest game of your career when you came up big, a career high in playoff for assists.
Well, I came out trying to get everybody in it, and I knew if we go out and play some tough defense, we can get a lot of easy baskets by running a fast break and transition, and that's what I had my mindset on coming in to do.
All right, you'll have game 1 against the Indiana Pacers in the second round. What will be the key in that series? Will it be to continue to push the ball up the court? You're the man to do that.
Well, it's going to start with our defense, and that's where we can push the ball up the court, and if we go out and play the defense, we can always go out and run.
All right, good luck to you guys. Thanks a lot, Danny. The Hawks in the second round of the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. Let's send it back to Tom Hammond.
So the Hawks win Game 5 over Miami, 102-91. Now coming up next, the Phoenix Suns against the Houston Rockets in Game 1 of their second round series in the West. Dick Enberg and Steve Jones standing by for that one. For Bill Walton and Dan Hicks, this is Tom Hammond saying so long from Atlanta. This is the NBA on NBC. Ring in the NBA.